A small, quiet town covered in a dark fog. Silent Hill. In the toilets in the outskirts of the city, James Sunderland stared at his reflection, lost in thoughts.
Mary, could you really be in this town?
3 years prior from now, James's wife had died from a chronic disease. Then one day, James received a letter from her despite that she had died. It said Mary would be waiting in Silent Hill, in their special place, a specific place in the town with their fond memories.
Waiting for you to come to see me.
It's been 3 years since his wife passed away, so this could have been a sick joke. But James couldn't just ignore this letter. So, along with the dark fog surrounding him, he walked down the road.
Excuse me,
I'm sorry. I
No,
was
it's
just...
okay. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm kind of lost.
After encountering a woman named Angela examining graves,
Lost?
who came here to search for her missing mother,
I mean my mother.
James entered the rural village. But the town was empty of life, and even the air seemed to be choked by the fog. Something was definitely up in this place. Macabre, monstrous creatures. James hoped this was a simple nightmare, but he had to face the cruel reality.
Is it dead?
Whoa, I might be stronger than I thought. To his dismay, this was merely the start. The road was already filled with them, and all paths that may lead him to the special place were blocked. So, James took shelter into an unlocked apartment, and thankfully, he found a handgun that will serve him well, and went ahead to look further within this mazy apartment. A scene derived from common senses, beyond description. Soon, James ran into a man vomiting into a toilet named Eddie,
Eddie.
and somewhat anxious Angela,
Oh, it's you.
then a playful girl named Laura. Gratefully, James wasn't the only survivor,
Yet. She's not anywhere.
but
What happened here anyway?
Eddie wasn't in the best moment to talk,
I told you, I don't know.
and unlike their first encounter,
No!
Angela was going paranoid.
Oh, I'm sorry. I feel bad. Please, don't!
And despite this grim situation,
Ow!
the youthful child
Hey, wait!
Laura stayed playful regardless. And then, James ran into this monster, Pyramid Head, once again. Upon the sight of fresh meat, it swung its giant cleavers at him. James shot his handgun desperately. But it wasn't until the blare of the sirens the monster made its exit. None of this made sense at all. But it got him out of the nightmarish apartment, and he ran into Laura one more time.
You! It was you, wasn't it? You're the one who stepped on my hand.
I don't know. Maybe I did.
To his surprise,
You didn't love Mary anyway.
Laura knew about Mary.
How do you know Mary's name?
The child was gone before he could know it. James had no choice but to turn around, and soon arrived at Rosewater Park, one of the possible special places.
Mary? No, you're not.
Do I look like your girlfriend?
No, my late wife.
A woman that looked just like Mary,
I can't believe it.
Maria.
You could be her twin.
James told her the reason he wound up
Where are you
here,
going?
I'm looking for Mary.
and remembered another dear place, the hotel. Maria didn't wish to be left all alone in this town,
Just leave me?
No, but...
With all these monsters around?
No, I just...
so she tagged along.
I'm all alone here. Everyone else is gone.
So, James was the team's damage dealer, and Maria was the crafty lockbreaker. The two joined forces to head to the hotel. But as the two saw young Laura entering the hospital alone, they couldn't leave the child. So they followed her. Maria seemed unwell. So after letting her take a break from this, James relied solely on a small flashlight to investigate the hospital. But another shade of horror approached him. The bubblehead nurses, wearing bloodstained uniforms with their heads wrapped. The deadly ladies wanted James dead. But despite the hardship, James managed
Laura?
to find Laura.
Huh?
How do you know about Mary?
We met at the hospital. It was last year.
James's wife died 3 years ago, yet Laura met her last year.
You liar!
The times didn't line up at all,
Fine, don't believe me.
but James couldn't simply leave the child here.
This is no place for a kid.
So he held Laura's hand and took her outside.
Wait. There's something I gotta get.
Later, okay?
But it's really important.
What is it?
A letter from Mary.
Huh?
In accordance with what
I
Laura
wanna
had
go
said,
get it. Is that okay?
Yes!
James entered the room to get the letter.
Laura! What are you doing?
Ha ha. I tricked you.
Open the door, Laura.
Why should I? I'm a liar, right? Want me to open it? Huh? Do ya? What's the magic word?
Laura?
Okay, I guess I won't open it. I think I'll just leave you like this.
You snotty little brat! Open up!
Why, you
Laura?
hurt me!
Just like that, James was left in hot hell. Against these weird floating piles of flesh, James shot all kinds of bullets. And like smashing piñatas, he took those piles down. But then, the sirens rang once again. James was back to his senses, the already colorless dark world became more brutal, as if hell itself has come to this world. Going against the monsters, they went even more hostile.
James!
Mary?
At least,
Oh,
James
Maria.
reunited with Maria.
It's you. I thought you were...
I was almost killed back there! Why didn't you try to save me? All you care about is that dead wife of yours. I've never been so scared in my whole life! You couldn't care less about me, could you?
No, I
Then
just...
stay with me!
Extremely
Don't ever leave
upset
me
about
alone.
how she was left alone,
You're supposed
Maria
to take
expressed
care
her
of
feelings.
me.
The two agreed that they must search for the child Laura. But they crossed paths with the notorious icon of Silent Hill again. And James, horrified, threw himself through the elevator door.
Open up! No! Maria!
Maria was gone, just like that. James barely got himself back together and escaped the cursed hospital to come out to the dark streets of the night. The pitch black darkness was the home ground for these monsters. Yet James's daring wit and strategies made him reach the underground prison. James met Eddie one more time,
You killed him?
but the way he flung his pistol recklessly indicated that he went insane.
I was just joking, James. He was dead when I got here, honest. Anyway, I gotta run.
You're going out there alone?
Something within him had changed,
Eddie?
but these two were not the only ones.
Daddy! Don't!
Struggling with nightmares here. A disgusting creature tried to get Angela. In this room of bizarre interior, James fought furiously without thinking and managed to take the monster down. But Angela
Are you okay?
wasn't in a good state of mind.
Angela, relax.
Don't order me around!
I'm not trying to order you.
So what do you want then? Oh, I see. You're trying to be nice to me, right? I know what you're up to. It's always the same. You're only after one thing.
No, that's not true at all.
You don't have to lie. Go ahead and say it. Or you could just force me. Beat me up like you always did. You only care about yourself anyway. You disgusting pig.
Angela,
Don't touch me!
The survivors were going more and more mental in this distorted, grotesque world. At this point, I'm not sure if I am myself anymore. James had a terrible thought. But regretfully, this wasn't the last one that would confuse James.
You're alive! Maria, I thought that thing killed you.
James was sure that he saw her die. But Maria was sitting right there in the prison cell. None of this made sense to
What
James,
do you mean?
and what
Chased us
Maria
to the
said
elevator.
only perplexed him even more.
What are you talking about?
Just before! Don't you remember?
James, honey, did something happen to you? After we got separated in that long hallway? Are you confusing me with someone else? You were always so forgetful. Remember that time in the hotel?
Maria?
You said you took everything, but you forgot that videotape we made. I wonder if it's still there.
How do you know about that? Aren't you Maria?
I'm not your Mary.
So, you're Maria?
I am. If you want me to be.
All I want from you is an answer.
It doesn't matter who I am. I'm here for you, James. See? I'm real. Don't you want to touch me?
I don't know.
Come and get me. I can't.
To get Maria out of that prison cell, this demon slayer searched everywhere to find the key to open Maria's jail cell door.
Maria? Maria?
Maria, no!
But what he found
What
there
happened to you?
was Maria's cold, dead body.
Why? Why?
Who did this and why? Once more, overwhelmed by yet another tragedy, James aimlessly walked forward. He reached the graveyard to find the other survivors' names there, and when he came across his own gravestone, James realized that he was no doubt going insane. But of course, in this cursed town, James wasn't the only one.
Eddie? What are you doing?
What does it look like? He always busted my balls. You fat, disgusting piece of shit. You make me sick. Fat ass, you're nothing but a waste of skin. You're so ugly, even your mama don't love you.
Eddie, have you gone nuts? I knew it. You too.
You're just like him, James.
Hey, I didn't mean anything.
You've been laughing at me all along, haven't you? Ever since we first met. I'll kill you, James!
Against Eddie, thinking that James was also making fun of him. James had no choice but to fight back. With hanging meats between them, the two continued their fight. Repeated shots from Eddie gave James a hard time. But with great guns
Shotgun!
comes great power. To this wonderful display of power and responsibility, Eddie fell.
I killed a human being. A human being. Mary. Did you really die 3 years ago?
There was only one way to find out. James had to make a visit to the hotel, the couple's special place. So James rode through the dark mist and walked the familiar path to reach the Fond Hotel.
Did I scare you?
Here,
Yeah.
James ran into
did.
Laura again, who'd been looking for Mary.
She's here, isn't she? If you know where she is, tell me. I'm tired of walking.
I wish I knew.
But she said it in her letter.
What letter?
Wanna read it?
Mary had befriended Laura in the hospital, and she had also written a letter celebrating Laura's 8th birthday.
Laura, how old are you?
I turned 8 last week.
So, Mary couldn't have died 3 years ago.
Me and Mary talked a lot about Silent Hill. She even showed me all her pictures. She really wanted to come back. That's why I'm here. Maybe you'll get it if you see the other letter. The one Mary... Huh? I must have dropped it.
Laura!
I gotta find it.
Laura!
Mary was alive, despite the horrors filling the hotel. The fact that she lived gave James the strength to go on with the search. Like so, as he was investigating, James found the videotape
But you forgot that videotape we made.
that Maria had mentioned earlier. He found room 312, the very one the couple stayed. And while reminiscing of the good old days, he played the tape.
Are you taping again? Come on. I don't know why, but I just love it here. It's so peaceful. You know what I heard? This whole area used to be a sacred place. I think I can see why. It's too bad we have to leave. Please promise you'll take me again, James.
Mary was killed by no one other than their husband. A couple who loved each other so much, James and Mary Sunderland. But as she fell ill with an incurable disease, and death became a tangible concept, her sweet, kind personality withered away with her life. And the stress from her days in the hospital turned her hysteric day by day. And as her physical beauty faded away, anger and frustration took its place. James took care of Mary passionately, but the flow of time brought the inevitable deprivation of James's strength, thus leaving him to make an irreversible choice. But as James returned to Silent Hill, this mysterious village, everything changed. With his memory of homicide forgotten, James believed that Mary died from her disease. And the supernatural powers of the village read James's darkest anxieties and inner guilt, and called him to enter Silent Hill, but an alternate version of it, the one filled with fog and darkness. And in this realm, James had met these monsters, manifestation of his inner guilt. The pyramid head that chased James represented his guilt of murdering his own wife. The nurses wearing revealing uniforms were manifestations of James's darkest guilt of feeling lust toward the nurses in the hospital instead of Mary. The fact that the tranquil, peaceful town of Silent Hill changed to a desolate landscape like this was a representation of James's mind shattered into pieces. Also, because the other world that manifested with the blares of siren was a domain where one's guilt was reflected in more detail, James was stuck in this world, continuously struggling within his own sinful deeds. And James Sunderland was not the only one called. The others had their own versions as well. Insecure Eddie suffered an eating disorder and ended up shooting a bully. Angela was molested by her father, and that only ended with her killing him. She was obsessed with her apathetic mother. And this wretched monster was a twisted visualization of her being molested by her father under a blanket.
Daddy! No! Mama! Mama, I was looking for you. Now you're the only one left. Maybe then I can rest. Mama, why are you running away? You're not my mama. It's you. Oh, I'm sorry.
Angela, no.
Thank you for saving me. But I wish you hadn't. Even Mama said it. I deserved what happened.
No, Angela, that's wrong.
No, don't pity me. I'm not worth it. Or maybe you think you can save me. Will you love me? Take care of me? Heal all my pain? That's what I thought.
It's hot as hell in here.
You see it too. For me, it's always like this.
Laura was the only innocent being here, and thus she was not a target of the other world.
Ha ha.
Hey, wait!
So she's been unintentionally putting James in danger,
You snotty little brat! Open up!
freely wandering about the real Silent Hill.
So there you are, James. Did you get the letter? Did you find Mary? If not, let's get going already, okay?
Laura. Mary's gone. She's dead.
Liar, that's a lie!
No, that's not true.
She died because she was sick?
No. I killed her.
You kill her! Why'd you do it? I hate you! I want her back! Give her back to me! I knew it! You didn't care about her! I hate you, James! I hate you! I hate you! I hate you! She was always waiting for you. Why? Why?
I'm sorry. The Mary you know isn't here.
James, where are you? I'm waiting. I'm waiting for you. Please come to me. Do you hate me? Is that why you won't come? James,
That voice!
James, please hurry. Are you lost?
Like so, the truth was clear to James.
James!
He now had one thing left,
Stop! Leave her alone!
and that was facing his deed without turning away.
Ah!
I was weak. That's why I needed you. Needed someone to punish me for my sins. But that's all over now. I know the truth. Now it's time to end this.
As if reminding James of his vile sins, the manifestations of his guilt harassed him. But James simply could not fall here, because his dead wife was waiting for him in this living hell. After dealing with waves of guilt and emerging memories of pain,
Please don't go.
James walked down a long corridor
Don't leave me alone.
to finally reunite with his wife.
Mary?
When will you ever stop making that mistake? Mary's dead. You killed her.
Maria? It's you. But I don't need you anymore.
What? You must be joking. But I can be yours. I'll be here for you forever. And I'll never yell at you or make you feel bad. That's what you wanted. I'm different than Mary. How can you throw me away?
I understand now. It's time to end this nightmare.
No! I won't let you. You deserve to die too, James!
Boxed within a metal bed frame, Maria reached out to the hands of death to James. Something he wanted to forget, but something he couldn't forget. James stood against the cruel reality, in front of his sin, and this time, he never backed away.
Mary?
James.
Forgive me.
I told you that I wanted to die, James. I wanted the pain to end.
That's why I did it, honey. I just couldn't watch you suffer. No. That's not true. You also said you didn't want to die. The truth is, I hated you. I wanted you out of the way. I wanted my life back.
James, if that were true, then why do you look so sad?
Mary?
James. Please. Please do something for me. Go on with your life. When I first learned that I was going to die, I just didn't want to accept it. I was so angry all the time, and I struck out at everyone I loved most, especially you, James. But I want you to know this, James. I'll always love you. Even though our life together had to end like this, I still wouldn't trade it for the world. These last few years since I became ill, I am so sorry for what I did to you.
You've given me so much, and I haven't been able to return a single thing. That's why I want you to live for yourself now. Do what's best for you, James. James, you made me happy.